Hello, good morning Uganda, good morning boys and girls. My name is Edwin Twinomugisha, the science doctor. Once again, I'm in the studios ready to take you through integrated science for primary 6. In our today's lesson, we shall be able to understand more about first aid kit and first aid box. But of course, before we get that far, like I have come doing it, and I will always do it because I feel like we need you safe even after this period of lockdown, when the schools are still under this kind of temporary closure. Now, I will always remind you that SOPs are still very important. Therefore, if your mask is not on, you are therefore not safe. In this case, take this opportunity to tell you that if you must not move, simply stay home. You are a student, concentrate on these lessons that we are doing, that we are taking on Star TV, and then make sure that you continue doing other useful activities at home. That one alone will safeguard you from getting in touch with other people you don't know whether they are carrying the virus or not. I repeat, if your mask is not on, you are not safe. I will simply remove it for the purposes of clarity and audibility, since my brother Ivan is at some good distance away from me, and indeed is also wearing his face mask. Therefore, let me put off this and we look at a number of simplified facts today. In our last lesson, we are able to discuss issues concerning reasons why we must give first aid to people. And indeed, we said that someone who is involved in an accident, someone who has gotten any form of accident, is referred to as a victim, a casualty, right? And then today we should be able to understand still that we have that responsibility. There is some responsibility we carry for saving lives of casualties, right? For saving lives of casualties. And that is the major reason. That is the major reason we give first aid people who have been involved in any form of accident. I keep on saying any form of accident because I'm looking at accidents in different forms. This can range right away from cuts, from burns, talk about scars, talk about, fainting, drowning, near drowning. You can talk about all these, including road accidents. Therefore, it remains your responsibility, my responsibility, to make sure that the lives of these people who get involved in such kind of accidents are saved. Now, I want us to start our lesson by reflecting on two of these key words that are commonly asked in science under first aid. ABC, and then we have ABC, and we also have the 3 B's. It's quite important if we must give first aid, right? And we also said that there are those fundamental principles, call them the good qualities, the qualities of a good first aider. So you are going in to save a life, right? And you want this casualty to gain their consciousness. You want them to gain their strength. Now, do you know this, the ABC? If you say ABC, of course, we are looking at the airway, breathing, saturation, airway, breathing, saturation. Why this? This is why, for example, when we are giving first aid to someone who has fainted, when you talk about fainting, the one thing you will do is to make sure that this person is able to get enough fresh air, right? Fresh air must be provided to this person. This is why we usually tend to, carry this person to the places, where there are no, crowds of people. You want them to be in a free space. Some people take an extra step of fanning, Fanning, you can use maybe a piece of cloth. But then for last instance, we say, you simply need to raise the legs slightly higher than the level of the head so that there is that easy flow of oxygenated blood back to the brain. You get the point? So, airway breathing saturation, you just check whether this person is still breathing, right? You look at if this person is fighting to breathe. How is, the channel? We talked about respiration in the past. How is the entire respiratory system? Is the breathing system, widely open to receive what you are trying to fan in? So there must be a study about the breathing. There must be a study about the movement of air to the lungs. There must be, it is once the movement of air into the lungs increases, you get the point? Oxygen will definitely increase in blood. And at this particular moment, we need plenty of oxygen so that this oxygen can move along with blood into the brain carried by the artery called the carotid artery. Today it's fire. I just want us to look at only the facts related to integrated science. Then, of course, if you talk about the 3 B's, yes, you talk about this. If you talk about the 3 B's, you are going to talk about breathing, right? Then you will also look at, you will talk about the breathing, you will talk about the breathing, and this is, you can now see the relationship. That's why you must be very, very, very careful with the way you give first aid to people. In the past I told you that it is very important for you to understand that if you are not clean, if you are not, safe for giving first aid, then you'd rather, leave it out. So you are talking about the breathing, you are talking about, the bleeding. Is this person still breathing? Is this person having some bleeding? Right? So at the end of it all, you will be able to understand that this person needs this kind of first aid. That's why, people will look at someone who has maybe just fainted, and instead of doing something very small for this person to gain their consciousness, and then this person ends up leaving the entire person to die, maybe because they are just not aware of what they must do. So these are some of the basics that we need to focus and look at, most especially when it comes to accidents and first aid. Like, of course, I did not tell you, this is not my main area of concentration for today. Today, I want us to look at, basically look at what we call the items. Items found in the first aid kit. Found in the first aid kit. Found in the first aid kit. Now, if you say items found in the first aid kit, you need to reflect back onto what we covered the other time. I remember very well talking about what we call first aid kit itself. I can outline it right from here. The first aid kit, right? So if you said the first aid kit, I said you are talking about the set. This is the set. This is a set of items. This is a set of items used in giving first aid. In giving first aid. A set, a set of items that are greatly used to give first aid. If I can pose a question back to you now. I believe the great boys and girls, you are watching from wherever. I believe the country is watching because we want to understand more of the facts concerning integrated science. Now, let me pose this question back to you. For example, if someone asked you the first aid that can be given to someone who has experienced near drowning. Remember that there is the difference between drowning itself, right, and then near drowning. I don't know whether I told you last time that we don't give first aid to someone who has drowned. There is no first aid for drowning. And this is simply because this person has died. His lungs have been fully occupied, filled up with water. And then, yes. So, we need to know that, boys and girls watching this program, we are going in for a short break. And when we return, we shall be able to continue. Yes. Okay? Integrated. Okay? Integrated science. Okay? So, we are looking at the facts. Yes. Let's go in for a... So, we are going in for a address by the president, and briefly, in case time allows, we shall be able to get back and connect. Let's first listen to the president, and then we shall be able to continue with our lesson in the near, in the few minutes after his address to the nation. Please tune in and listen to the president.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda,